Still got the album. Okay.
Left-Wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
Welcome to the Left-Wing Kingz podcast. Today we're talking about how increased police presence is escalating violence during the college campus protests, Trump trial fatigue, and the soft guy era. I'm your head moderator in charge of HMIC Malik, and I'm joined today by King Steve.
What's up?
And King Ace.
What up? What up? We gonna pull Steve off the bench.
Yes, sir. One more again.
Sixth man of the year right there.
One more again. Let's get it cracking, people.
Let's go.
The Israel-Gaza war has led to a resurgence of student activism with protests erupting from coast to coast. Now, a series of events on multiple campuses have led to violence and arrests, bringing long-standing issues of inequality to the forefront. And these kids, they're not backing down, and they're not afraid to make their voices heard. So, Steve, tell our viewers why these students are protesting and what do they want?
Okay. They want the universities to stop investing in is the Israeli government, that type of thing. Of course, they want some type of ceasefire in the atrocities that are going on there. They also want the American government to take a stand. And they're protesting. That's what students do.
Yeah.
Students protested in the civil rights movement. They protested in the women's rights movement, the Chicano rights movement. That's what students do. That's what young people do.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Vietnam, a lot of people are trying to compare it to the 60s and all of that. But yeah, I think that they forget that there's a lot of movements that students have done up to this point. But yeah, basically that, man, just trying to end what's going on in Hamas. I mean, not Hamas, in Gaza and Israel is basically what they're standing up for. It's a complicated situation when you look at it. I mean, I think everybody can agree that what happened what happened is happening over there is horrible. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The bombing of Palestine. But we're gonna also say October 7th was horrible. Nobody wants to see anybody die or death or crazy death. So it's just crazy because the protest, which is good, I think is kind of getting messed up with some outside agitators.
Yes, sir.
And that's what's taking it over, and that's why you're seeing police presence caught over there. And I mean, anytime police gets involved, that can become Kent State. All we need is some life to be lost, and that's just that's just a powder keg waiting to explode. So,
and what you said too is critical to the situation is that there are a lot of individuals who are not students at those protests. And when you have people who come in there who have nothing to lose, because to your point, Steve, students will protest because when you're in a university setting, you're taught to be a critical thinker. You're taught to challenge the norms. You're taught to speak up for what you think is right. So, of course, they're going to be the ones leading protests. But at the same time, when you have bad actors come in who are outside of the university, you can't suspend them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't you can't kick them out of school.
Yeah.
So these fools is acting a fool out there because there are many people out there who aren't students acting up.
Yeah.
I was watching the news and one of the reporters was going, they say, I'm going to go and ask who's a student. And he was asking people, are you a student? They were like, no, I'm not a student. Are you a student? No. I think he said, at what time he was through, he said 80% of the people he asked weren't even students.
Yeah. I think that one of the things that one of the reasons that actually happens is this. When you protested in Washington, every day somebody's protesting something in Washington. Every day. So if you want something to be recognized, you can't go to Washington and necessarily be seen. These universities, it's a smaller area. You already have people who are politically minded because usually if you're in some type of academic setting, you're going to be thinking about those things. You're going to have some people at least who are thinking about those things. So it's going to make it more likely that you'll have people who are like-minded, A, and B, it's a smaller setting. So reporters will come and they'll see it and it'll be a big deal. If you're protesting in Washington, people protest in Washington every day about something or another. So that's, I think, part of the reason why it's what's happening at the universities is a bigger deal, but I think that's kind of by design.
Yeah. And speaking of big deal, there was a big deal, Ace, at UCLA. There was
Oh,
some
yeah.
pro-Palestinian demonstrators were attacked by a pro-Israeli group. So the universities now need to start protecting the protesters?
I mean, I think they somewhat try to, but you know, and like you said, yeah, I mean, I think the students are kind of fall under the campus. The campus has its own police force, and I think they can only do so much. When you get outside agitators over there and they get overwhelmed, then they have to bring in the police. But now you have the police that they're in a confused state, because like at UCLA, they had the protesters behind them. They had the police having to watch the people who were on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So in a way, they were already trying to kind of do that, but then they were going in to remove the encampment. Now, understand, the encampment got mostly people who won't even go to the school there. They're just sitting there and protesting. You know, so now they got to go try to clear the encampment. So now they got the police protecting the other police so they can clear the damn encampment. You know, it's funny, man. I was listening to the radio this week, man, and a professor that was at UCLA, just to let you know how crazy this thing is. And just let me say this part: it takes away from the cause now, because he's a professor there. He's walking there and he says, "Man, you know, I'm walking to class, and then people just stop me and say, 'Hey, you can't go this way.' They ain't even put students in that. They just some of the protesters." And you know, he said they jumped him, took his iPods. So he goes to the campus police to complain, you know, to get them to go arrest him. And they said, "Well, they told us, leadership said, don't even go down there and mess with them." You know, so it was a point. He said, "Man, this thing's been happening for about a week. Y'all just noticed it on Tuesday." He said, "But violence been going on for a week." He said leadership wouldn't allow the police to even go in there. So yeah, they had to eventually get the police down there to give order and protect them. Now, what are you talking about police? You got a dude that been in the academy, just fresh out of the academy, 2 years now. He's faced with this kind of drama. Like I said, this thing can erupt, or it could have erupted and been something way worse. You know what I'm saying? And the kind of what Steve was saying, like you can't go to Washington D.C. To protest. You come here to protest and try to do your thing, but you're taken away from a cause, which most of the kids that are protesting, they got a good cause. You know what I'm saying? But it's just now these outside agitators are messing everything up for him.
See, man, took his look his friggin' iPad, his
You heard
ear.
that one?
Yeah, that was Pookie and Ray Ray, man. There wasn't no protesters. What the hell are you talking about? No, but in all seriousness, this is the thing. If you are actually protesting, okay, and that is what you are doing, if you are protesting, that should be somewhat of a safe space. Now, if you are an outside agitator, if you're somebody who's committing any type of crimes or something like that, that is something totally different. Okay. But yes, you should be able to safely protest. Now, protests don't mean you sit there and camp out, in my opinion. You know, I mean, if you're having a sit-in, that's something different.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, if you're having a sit-in, that's something different. But when you're on a college campus, and these kids are living on the campus, they got dorms. So, I mean, I kind of question, you know, why you going?
Go to your room, fool.
Yeah,
doing?
Why
you popping up a tent?
Yeah, yeah. You know, you got a freaking a dorm room. You probably not gonna be sitting, you know. And I mean, some of them will, but I think that a lot of that is people outside. And again, for safely, you know, but you taking people's stuff, you causing problems for people. No, you can't stay. But I do feel like there should not be violence, like the people who are pro-Palestinian and people who are pro-Israeli or whatever. They shouldn't be able to. They should be protected from each other as far as acts of violence. That's not necessary. You know, one thing about being Americans, we should be able to disagree in an agreeable way, and that's part of the problem that we have right now. Somebody's protesting, let them say what they got to say.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For
That
some people,
oh man, you
no,
got
go
it.
ahead.
I said, and if you're using, jihadist, words, and you're doing things like that, like you're supporting Hamas, and one person, they dropped that big banner with the Hamas saying, I don't know exactly what it is, but it was pretty much, death to Israel, and the river to the sea, they like to say, and all that good stuff. And then on the anti-Palestinian stuff that people are saying, Islamic stuff. I mean, that's all uncalled for, and that's, I think, and it kills me is there's a lot of people saying, and like, you over here ain't no shots being rang. It's shots being rang out over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You stand over here in the comfort of your home. You know what I'm saying? Over here where you can kind of talk. And some of these agitators that they have a couple of them that they caught like on Columbia, and they caught, New York University. And this is what these people do. They've been arrested going around doing this all across the country. You know what I'm saying? Just causing trouble.
Yeah. So one thing that might have been like unnecessary as well is what happened at North Carolina. So Steve, they actually took down the United States flag and put up a Palestinian flag at the University of North Carolina. Did the protesters go too far? And if they did go too far, what else could they have done? Like what's the effective protest look like?
My question is this: you're taking down an American flag. This is where we are. We're not in Palestine.
Nope.
So what is it? What good is that going to do? That's not really going to do any good. That's not going to do any good not going to do good for anybody. Okay. What I really do think that people who are want change, want to help the Palestinian people and everything, what they should be doing is they should be doing this. They should be canvassing, trying to get people to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We need to be getting on our congressmen and our senators to pressure the president to pressure Israel, and even on both sides, even if Trump, God forbid, look, let's just say, let's just say, let's just say he does. It should still be a situation where he, even the Republicans, everybody should be going to their congressmen, their senators, and saying, look, this has got to stop. We need to have some type of resolution. And this right now isn't something that, just popped up out of nowhere. This has been an issue since modern day Israel was created. Okay.
In the 40s.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, when this is created, they did not think about the Palestinian people. They did not. And this is just my opinion. When you create a situation like that, then that's when you have things like Hamas and stuff like that. That's where that comes from. That comes from people who you created a situation where they don't have a voice.
Yeah, it comes from oppression.
Yeah. And I very strongly feel like if this is something that is going to be solved, we need to look at the roots of the problems.
Oh yeah, man, it gets real geopolitical after that, and we know that Palestine and has been oppressed for 70-something years, and they've fought wars, multiple wars over this. This ain't nothing new. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes I feel the younger generation feels like it came out of nowhere. It's been going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So no, and I applaud their effort. I applaud their effort to protest or whatever. But yeah, you're going too far when you start pulling down the American flag.
No, you can't do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like anytime you start messing with our to our heritage or what we do over here, you're going too far. I mean, it's a lot of people that bled and died. Not only veterans, but people just that bled and died for that flag to make that happen. So the symbolism it ain't that serious that you're going to throw a Palestine like that. You know what I'm saying? Now, support them. Yeah, I get that. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, you can't tear down what we doing over here. And that's part of the problem is that like they're, it's almost like being anti-American. Like, where's that coming from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I would even say this. Even if the American flag itself isn't a symbol to you, You have to understand that that is a symbol to somebody.
Yeah.
You have to be able to look outside of yourself and see this is important to someone. This is important to someone because their parents were in the military. They were in the military. They feel very patriotic and everything about the flag. Okay. And that might not be your thing. But one thing's for sure, we here in America, we not in Palestine, we not in Israel. So taking down that flag, it's not gonna have a positive impact.
No.
Nah. But you know what will have a positive impact?
Hitting that like button.
You damn Skippy.
All
Hit
right.
that like button. Okay. Make sure that you subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz and also share this content on all of your social media platforms, like Queen Tina says.
Yeah.
All right. Just real quick. Walanda Whitaker. I don't know who the hell that is.
Yeah,
She
who was
online.
that, man?
She says quite a few of these protesters were not students. So
Yeah.
we know it's crazy out there, man, with these people running rampant. And so that being said, Ace, there was a big deal. Columbia University, a lot of stuff been happening. I mean, that was the epicenter. That's where it all started. But after the NYPD arrested a bunch of protesters out there, and they removed an encampment, the university actually asked NYPD to stay on campus until May 17th, which is after their graduation ceremony. So is this necessary, or is the university taking things too far?
No, in Columbia's situation, I think it's necessary. I mean, them fools broke into a building, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they took it to the next level. It's stated about 30% of the people on the Columbia is gated. That's another thing. But 30% of them are non-students. They have a faction up there, and a lot of the heavy hitters that go around, these agitators, that they got arrest records, that they go around the country and pull off stunts like this in the name of protest. They made their home and they camped out at Columbia. They're just not dealing with students over there. So I think that they have to keep law enforcement there, probably kind of like we were talking about in the last topic, to even protect the protesters if you want to. Like you said, college campuses are set up for that, but it's really a underlying faction that's turning this into something ugly. I was just surprised because, like you say, students protest all the time, but I was surprised, like, blam, all at once. And then that's where I was hearing some news feeds that said, look at, most college protests are grassroots. You know what I'm saying? Kids protest and they say what they want to, and they do what they want to, and it's pretty much, and like you say, it probably goes on more than we even think about it. When I was in college, there was always protests going on. You didn't get the news coverage of that.
Nope.
This situation that blew up, and they said because it was well organized and orchestrated. The guy in the UCLA said, "Hey man, all of a sudden 4 buses pulled up and people just got off the buses." So somewhere somebody is moving these puppet strings and turning this into something. And then it just, when my mind starts to work, I start thinking, hey man, is this something that's involved in something bigger, like China and Russia actually got plants over here that are trying to just cause chaos? Like, who knows where this is coming from?
I think that what you also have to look at is this, though. People were getting bussed in the civil rights movement. They were getting bussed to the South. That's nothing new. That's nothing new with protest. It's not. But what happens is this, okay? Just like you were talking about with the protests in New York, okay? You have to have police. You have to have a police presence there, just like you said, to protect the students. You have to have, you're going to have pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli people. You have to have the police there to protect them from each other. Okay. So I do think it is absolutely necessary. But my question is this: what is the end game? It's like all this protesting and everything, that's getting the TV, presence and everything, or internet presence. But really, if you're going to have some type of movement within, it has to go past that. It has to go past the protesting. You're going to have some political action. You're going to have some financial action. Are you going to start, boycotting? Are you going to make sure that people are voting? Those types of things. Those are the things. When you start messing with people's money and you start voting people out of office, that's what's going to create change.
Yeah, and I would say that two things, just on the point around like police presence. I think it's necessary, but at the same time, same question: what's the end game? Like on May 17th, is all this just going to disappear, or you going to ask the police to stay?
Yeah.
Like when the police go, like because both of your points, you need to have someone protecting the people from each other. But like you said earlier, this campus police, where they at?
Yeah.
You don't got enough of them. Hire some more. Columbia was the first one. I think they started doing this just this week. Who are going to the encampments? The police are going out there, or campus police, and asking for student IDs before they let you in.
Yeah.
So that's something that can easily stop some of the outside agitators from going into the encampments. But you never know how that's going to go. Like maybe they're still outside of the encampments and causing trouble or whatever. And then, like you said, like busing people in, that's been there forever, man. And that stuff ain't changing.
Yeah, but like if you going like to the Washington Mall or something, that's busting. Like you busting people to the university. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go over there. You know what I mean? Like with the intent. And like I said, when people are getting busted in civil rights, they had the intent to go sit on the mall or do whatever. Somebody and maybe all of them aren't, but some of these people getting busted in, they just got evil intentions. You know what I'm saying? So
of course. I mean, now evil intentions brings back thoughts about like all of the stuff that's been happening, the atrocities, right? There's been atrocities on both sides, man, Israel and Hamas. And it seems like most Americans are just siding with Israel. Why do y'all think that is?
There's a couple of things. I think because of how the media has portrayed the Palestinians, they associate Palestinians with Hamas. That's the association, and that's two completely different things. So, you got a lot of Palestinians who don't have anything to do with Hamas. Okay. I think that lack of education, lack of understanding of how we actually got there is probably the biggest issue. Because if you look at how we got here, then I feel like I think your opinion is going to have a little bit more nuance. You're going to understand, okay, well, this is why this is happening. Right. If you understand that.
Yeah, I mean, like in one of our videos that we did before around the Israel and Hamas thing, there was a comment on there, and dude was like, it was horrible what Hamas did, but you can't say they didn't do it for a reason.
Exactly.
There's been shit that's been going on to their people for decades.
Yes. And the thing about it is this: Israel's going in, it's like land that the Palestinians been living on, going in, building subdivisions and everything. I don't know, how people don't have empathy for that. Right. It's like if you have land and it's like, this is where you've been living, this is where your, family has been living for hundreds or thousands of years. And then people come in and just start building houses and stuff on it. You're not going to be good with that.
Yeah. Well, how did Israel come into play in the first place? Let's go back to the 40s when the UN carved out Israel. And we know that was the original homeland and all that stuff. You want to go back to the Bible when they carved that out. But who do they put there? Well, they didn't really put there. Who did they kind of award that to? Because they were kind of migrants that were over in that area anyway. Well, it was a lot of the Jewish people that were persecuted in the World War II that went over there and kind of got over there and did that. So that wasn't liked, and things happened. And end of the day in the story, Palestine, it's kind of been persecuted and oppressed since then. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's trying to back up what Hamas did. You shouldn't just go across the border and kidnap people and kill people for no reason, because one day you wake up and do that.
What you just said, for no reason?
Well,
that's what the people were mad about. For no reason.
Not no reason. Well, not no reason. But that's not the way to handle things
Right,
politically. And I
exactly.
know you get people get extreme when you have what you're going through, but that's nobody's trying to back October 7th here. But
No.
let's not act like Israel ain't got no blood in the game.
Exactly.
They do. You know what I'm saying? And it's come from years of oppression and doing what Steve kind of said, taking over land, and that came from a two-state decision decided by the UN back in the 1940s, and just haven't been solved. You know, it's just crazy what's what's going over there. But I'm back on. You got to understand the history, what's going on, what's happening with them over there, and like you said, what's going to be an end game over here. Yeah, America. I'm a big agreement. We need to talk to them about a ceasefire and be forceful. But there's some things that we are trying to do up there, like build a port and get them food over there because of the humanitarian effort. But we got to understand the history and what's going on over there, and just try to find the best way to support them.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, man, that you guys are saying. But I also think that, there's some things about this that, is causing a little bit of anxiety. People have seen enough death, war,
Yeah.
and it's time for it to come to an end. Another thing that people want to come to the end is damn Trump trials. Okay, they tired of this fool. Donald Trump needs to stay in the news, whether he likes it or not. In the latest news, Mr. Trump is on trial for falsifying documents during his 2016 presidential election campaign. You would think that this would be the trial of the century, kind of like OJ, where everybody's watching, but a lot of Americans are tuned out. They're not watching it. They're tired of, the Trump trial, the Trump thing. They're tired of all of it. So Ace, why aren't people paying attention to the hush money trial?
I think it's just become white noise. I mean, there's so much Trump stuff out there. I think a lot of people just, turn the TV when it comes on and just don't pay attention to it. And then they get tidbits of what they want to hear. They hear this here, they hear this there, and they kind of make decisions on that. I'm just baffled how somebody can have so much shit going on and like he's running for president. Like how are you running for president and you got like 4 or 5 states we got cases and it ain't no witch hunt. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, dog. He did all of that. Like it ain't like they just came up one day and said, hey, you know what? Nobody's ever got done like that. You know what I'm saying? To where we're just trying to, we're trying to hunt him down and find these are things that he's done. And the things that he's done is like he's all up in it. And other people went to jail for it. So before we get into the weeds, because I know I have a tendency of doing that. But yeah, he's just people are just tired of every time you turn on the TV, wherever you go, on the radio, and it's almost it's almost brilliant because he's everywhere. Like I was talking to somebody, I said he don't have to campaign; he's on TV every day.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? All day, and then they let this fool talk after every trial. So there's his campaign right there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I think that people just turn it off and hear what they want to hear, and then cut it off. Go look at Netflix or whatever, and they really just don't pay attention, and they take it as a sideshow, but it's really serious business.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and also, this is a person who has been a public figure since we were kids, man. And we 50 in our 50s, and he's been in the public since we were kids. So, for good or bad, people already have a set opinion on Trump. This trial, if you already know what you think of somebody, them going on trial, a lot of times isn't going to change your opinion that much. People who like Trump, whether he's innocent or guilty, they still probably gonna like Trump. People who don't like Trump, they still ain't gonna like Trump, whether he's innocent or guilty. And I think that that's where that fatigue has come from, because we've had to, especially since 2015, when he started running for president, it's nonstop Trump, nonstop, and now it's like, look, you can't even go buy some shoes. That nigga got shoes now. You can't get away from Trump.
You can't go in a Foot Locker without seeing this nigga.
So how are you gonna, that's gonna create some fatigue. I mean,
that's gonna win the black vote.
Yeah, them gold sneakers, nigga. Hey, let me ask you this, man. You talking about like the news and like he's like plastered everywhere, man. But there's a lot of news sources out there now. It's a plethora of news sources out there, and they are impacting how the public understands what's going on in this trial. Talk to us a little bit about all those different news sources and how they're impacting that.
Looking at different news sources, because I kind of took myself out of what I already knew about the trial and everything, and I tried to look at different news sources. These news sources paint a picture for you.
Yeah, they do.
And they paint a picture for you where it's what they want you to see.
Right.
Okay. That's not always accurate. And it's difficult to find something that is, this is what happened. This is what was said. This is how it went down. Left or right, either way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I think that makes it hard for somebody who is like, hey, I honestly do, whatever 5 or 10 people who, again, don't really already have an opinion. It's hard to really see, okay, well, this is what happened, because you have the news sources that'll say he's getting railroaded for stuff that, in my opinion, he obviously did. But again, that's my opinion.
Right.
But again, my opinion is part of the problem, because I'm already saying he obviously did these things. That's a bias.
Yes.
That's a bias.
Mm-hmm.
And
he still got a trial.
Dude should still get a fair trial. But people like me, are, look, with a camera in their hands saying, look, this guilty ass dude did such and such and such and such and such and such. You hear what this witness said, you hear what that witness said.
I mean, like, they got the audio, fool.
Yeah.
It kills me. It's just like, like, let's think about like the hush money trial, which I hate calling it that, but like, it wouldn't even be a trial if Donald Trump wouldn't have did the shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we going to trial to try to prove that he did it, when it wouldn't even been a trial if he didn't do it. Now, it ain't about him paying hush money. That's people gotta understand. I'm trying to call it that. It ain't about that. Yeah. It's about what he did to cover it up. Mm-hmm. But they talking to the bankers. They talking to the lawyers that did it. One of the lawyers that did do it went to prison already for doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and that's the hypocrisy when it comes to everything that's going with Trump, which is just showing like, you got enough money, you can play with the system. And that's basically the hypocrisy I don't like.
And it's not really the hypocrisy about it. It's what you said. It's the picture that's being painted by the news sources. There's so many different news sources out there. Some are painting things pro-Trump. Some are painting things that are against Trump. So, I mean, it's not even about just understanding, hey, this is what happened. If you're on the side and you watch Fox News, you're going to hear sound bites. You're going to see edited footage.
Yeah.
You're going to see, and if you're on CNN, you're going to see the same thing. You're going to get sound bites, edited footage. You're going to see what they want you to see. So at the end of the day, it's not even about having hypocrisy about what he did. If I don't have the information I need to make that decision because the news source is just giving me what they want me to see, I'm not the hypocrite. I'm not. I'm just looking at what I see. And to that end, I mean, that's part of the thing that causes this news and Trump trial fatigue. So Ace, I think it goes back to what we just said. It's impacting the voter knowledge, right? So what are your thoughts on that? Like how these different news sources and this news fatigue is impacting, like if I'm not watching, let's say I'm tired of the Trump trial, so I don't watch it at all. I said, I'm tired. How's that going to impact me as a voter?
It's going to be hard for you to make a decision based on, you don't have anything based on, I mean, you can like go to the internet and try to look it up, but once again, what source are you going to use? Personally, and people can tell me what it's worth. You can look at MSNBC, which I think is far left. You know what I'm saying? And you can look at Fox News and Newsmax and America First, which is far right. and I dabble with both of them until I think they own some bullshit. CNN tries its best to stay in the middle, but you could say it leans to the left a little bit. But at least they'll try to have some Republicans and some right wingers on there to kind of try to even it out. But the voter, unless you like a news head like me, gonna look at everything and research. If you don't do that, you're gonna be lost, and you're gonna be influential, and then you're gonna lean, like Steve was saying, more to what you like. You've already made up your mind. You know what I'm saying? You got facts blue in the face telling you, man, this is what happened, and this is what this dude did, and he did all this. But you've already made up your mind that you like Trump anyway, for whatever reason that you have and that you're doing. And I don't think that you kind of understand. There's a lot of agendas that are underlined, that are out there that you're talking about. Project 2025. That's horrible. He's part of that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not always thrown out there, projected. But you're saying, hey, well, you know what? I've already made up my mind that they mess with Trump, so I'm not even gonna look at the facts or whatever. So once again, you have to use multiple resources to try to make a good decision. But unfortunately, people aren't doing that. They're ignoring it, and they're going to make a decision based on what they feel like compared to what they know.
And something that I would also say is this: I encourage you, especially if you are donating, and you have every right to be a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. But if you're donating, look at where your money's going. Because if your money is going into supporting somebody who's on trial, okay, well then, if your views on something else are important, if your views are on making sure that your farmland is safe are important, that money that you could be put towards having your farm supported, money that could be put towards making sure children can get adopted, or whatever your views are, that might be a little bit more right wing, that are important, that I respect. Okay, I respect those views. I'm for all of those things. Okay, but that money is going to go to that. That money is going to go to this dude on trial for doing something, for sleeping with a prostitute. You want your money to go towards that? Is that how you want your money spent?
He actually built a fake company so he could pay the prostitute. And he was running for president, so he wanted to cover it up.
One thing that people can cover up with their finger.
That like button.
The like button. Cover that damn like button with your finger. And also subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz.
You got to build a shell company to do it.
That's right. You don't got to do none of that shit. You can do it all legal.
You can do it all.
And also share all of this content on all of your social media platforms. Thank you very much. All right. So, Steve, how does political polarization play a part in Trump supporters' willingness to watch the trials?
Okay. I'm going to put myself in their position. I can remember when they had the Clinton Monica Lewinsky scandal. I can remember not really agreeing with any of that and thinking everything was a whole bunch of BS and not wanting to watch any of that. I can remember that. I remember what that feels like. So I could empathize with the polarization part. With feeling like your guy is kind of being persecuted. 30 years later, looking at it now as an older, especially because then I was a young man. Now I'm an older man. Bill Clinton he took advantage of that girl. She was young.
Oh yeah.
I didn't see it like that when I was a young man though. But now, maybe if I had been open-minded, I would have saw it differently. But I feel like now it's the same thing. You got this man who's in power, who lacks moral character, but because people on one side, they might not see it like that. Or what they see is they see this. They're cynical and they say, you know what? Everybody in Washington is dirty. But to be honest, I could deal with everybody in Washington is dirty better than I can deal with he didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah. And we talked about that last week, how like a lot of Trump voters see it like, hey, everybody over there is fucking up. Why is he the only one on trial? Right? You're all dirty, and we all know you're all dirty. why are you just going after this dude? So we kind of talked about that, but also to your point about like Trump supporters and a Bill Clinton supporter not watching. I did watch the whole thing that was going on, and my reason behind watching it was the opposite of what you just said. It was kind of like I want to watch because, yeah, I don't think Bill Clinton did anything back then, right? This woman decided she wanted, this was mutual. He cheated on his wife. That was the only thing I thought he did wrong. But I was like, this woman's mutual. Yeah, I can see how an older man could influence a younger woman. I know all of that, but she was grown. So my perspective is I'm going to look at this to see him prove himself right, to see him get vindicated. And if I were a Trump supporter today, and you believe he didn't do anything wrong, and you believe that he's right, and you believe that all of this is bullshit, why not watch the trial to see your man sit up there and get vindicated and prove that this is all bullshit? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, and I don't think when Bill Clinton just straight up lied to everybody and said, you know, I wasn't having sexual relations.
Oh, he lied on that tape.
But we didn't let him off the hook with that. We wasn't like, you know, Trump.
But he lied, bro.
Oh, no, I'm saying he didn't. Don't say he lied. No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying is supporters didn't let him out. We weren't letting him off the hook with that.
100%. My bad.
But Trump, they like let him off the hook with everything, and he don't even care no more. Like he went up and said straight up, like before the thing, oh, you know what? The jury's 95% liberals, and you know, and
I think we're living in a different time where lying is cool. Lying is okay. Nobody worries. Like if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying type shit.
Yeah. So it's just you know, and it's just I think the difference is, you know, Bill Clinton did what he did, but that was kind of just some personal nonsense. Like we know Trump just came straight for the government, you know, fake electors,
no doubt.
You know, documents, you know, in Mar-a-Lago showing them to foreign people. Like it's just crazy stuff that like Trump is just like done in his own trial for. And how you're ignoring that, I have no idea. Like, how's that just, you know what I'm saying?
That is part of the fatigue. Just what you said, how are you ignoring that? There's so much that he has done. There's so, look, I mean, you got to think. And that's like when they call him Teflon Don, he is Teflon Don for a reason.
No doubt.
I mean, because the shit that Trump has gotten away with, you would have to go back 7 or 8 presidents. To get the stuff that that much dirt, really? How is somebody gonna get away? And it's mind-boggling. Look, it's mind-boggling to me to the point where I'm like, okay, I need to take notes on how this nigga is doing.
What did he do now?
He's like, it's a fucking masterclass on how to get away with anything you want to get away with.
And your point is so valid. Like it becomes a point where you like, man, I'm tired of this shit. Like it becomes too much. It's just like anything else in life, man. You can love some cake, motherfucker. But you can get tired of cake if you eat cake every motherfucking day. You get cake fatigue. Now we got Trump fatigue.
And I think that's just part of the agenda. And I think it all drives from a white nationalist 2025 project to where they're just trying to take over the federal government. And then they're doing that by just, you know, not only attacking just, you know, the electoral process, but also going after civil rights, civil service jobs and stuff like that, like really trying to take the government over. And I think that Trump's the head of that spear. That's why it's just so much going on. Like it's almost an attack. Like let's go attack this court system and see what's going on. And then all the way up to the point to where the election might get to the point where if he gets through with the election, Project 2025 hits. And this is just a whole different government situation that we're in. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what can't scare me. It doesn't scare me, but that's what just shocks me that people aren't paying attention to.
Like, well, people can't get away from social media. Like if you on social media, the algorithm is going to push you. It's going to hit you with whatever you've been watching. So, Ace, how is the social media algorithm forming opinions of the Trump trial and just Trump in general?
Well, social media is just confirming any of your beliefs, like you're saying. So your social media, it's your best friend. They don't come on and tell you things you don't want to hear. It tells you everything you want to hear. Shows you everything that you want.
It don't come on and say, you dummy.
Yeah, it shows you everything you want. You know what I'm saying? Why I keep seeing cake on here? Like, because you keep clicking cake, fool. You know what I'm saying? That's why. You know what I'm saying? You can't, you know, it don't lie. So the algorithm supports all the things that you like, tells you everything is good and great. And if you live in that world, in that bubble, that's what happens. I mean, and that's, and not to just jump on our last topic, because I thought I was going to bring it up there also, but I think that's how TikTok plays into the protest. You know what I'm saying? That these Gen Xers and the people that are in school right now, like we do social media, but we had a life before social media, so we understand there's a difference. These kids, that's their life. They think the social media part's their life. To the point they even believe everything that's being put on social media. And that's why their historical depth of what's going on isn't that deep, because they're getting it off of TikTok. You know what I'm saying? So same thing here with Trump. A lot of people, they're getting the same thing off of TikTok, Trump, Biden, whatever, and not understanding the historical ramifications of everything.
Yeah. And see, to me, look, I don't even use social media for none of that. I watch Shula King on social media. Shout out to Shula King. I ain't messing with no, because I want news. And when you have social media, when you have people telling you what you want to hear, that is not good for you. That's not good for you, because you're putting yourself in a circle where it's just like everybody is thinking what you're thinking.
Yeah. But that ain't true.
And regardless if you're on the left or the right, what if you're wrong? What if the information that you're getting in your circle isn't complete information, or it's partial information, or it's an outright lie?
Yeah.
Because what you're seeing right now is you're seeing this. I'll look at stuff and I'll be like, okay, I know that's not true. And I know it's not true, but I know it's not true because I've looked at credible news sources.
Yeah.
I've looked at stuff like the Associated Press, which is non-biased, really.
Yeah.
And got the information. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're getting information from something that is far right or far left, well, then the probability of you having information that does not have some type of spin on it, it's not very high. And if you're getting information from your social media circle, they're going to be sharing stuff
that you like.
Yes, that you like or that you agree with. And it's funny because I have friends who are more right wing, and I'd be like, how the hell they think this? But then I stop and I think about it. Well, let me look at this just to see, so I can understand their point of view. I might not agree with it, but I'll be like, let me look at this every once in a while, just to look in between me jokes and stuff like that. Because like I said, I feel like social media is good for jokes, it's good for music, this, that, and the other. And it's good maybe to look at the surface of what something is going on. But if that is your actual news source, I don't know if that's necessarily healthy.
Yeah, and it's not healthy. And when you're within the social media, like you said, the circle, you're in a bubble. And you're not going to get outside information about the trends and other things that you see going on in the world. But there is a trend that I just saw recently called the soft guy era. Okay. So there's a new trend. It's a relationship trend. Just started recently. Like I said, started on TikTok. Soft guy era. It's a shift. And it's flipped the whole dating game upside down in some spaces. In some spaces, people are like, this ain't nothing new. So, I mean, Ace, talking to us about what the soft guy era is.
Well, it's funny. We talked about it in our Wednesday meeting. I thought it was completely something else, but and I'll kind of touch on that a little bit. I thought the soft guy era was where guys were like staying at home and letting the women make all the money and kind of a role reversal back to like the 50s, where before women's lived with men. Like it was guys actually out there that were just like simply gonna let the women do everything, and they were gonna be the house dad or whatever the case may be. But as I read and studied a little bit, it was actually guys saying they're looking for women that basically like can go 50-50 with them. Dutch, they can live up to their point. They're looking for women who have the capability to earn just like them. So right before we talked, I was like, don't most people do that? Didn't know that was a whole era or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But
I don't think most people do that, unfortunately.
And I understand you got the, hey, I pay for everything, blah, 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 and all that. I know people talk shit like that, but most people that I know that have viable relationships, it's usually two healthy grown-ups that agree to get with each other, and they mutually contribute.
You talk about grown folk shit.
Yeah.
This is Gen Z and what's the new one, the Gen Alpha or whatever type shit, where they like, look, I'm tired of these women coming up in here, they little short shorts on, fake eyelashes, this, that, and the other, and I'm attracted to that. And I don't care if she got money or if she got a job or how good her job is and shit like that. She could work at motherfucking McDonald's for all I care. She look good. Where now they shift into kind of like, all right, our way of thinking, like Gen X way of thinking, like nigga, you ain't coming to the table with nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I think this shift. I think it's a generational type shift. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that when you look at that, it's important though, because when you look at, I think it's healthy because when you go further out, you know, you start in a relationship 15 years down the road, if both of y'all aren't walking into the situation, walking the same path, how long is it going to last?
That's true.
How long is it going to last? How are you going to have a lasting relationship if one of y'all is like, okay, we got to be fiscally responsible, we got to get education, we got to do this and we got to do that together, and the other one is like, okay, well, I want you to take care of me. That's not, we don't live in that society. We don't live in that society. And actually in the Black community, very rarely was that the case anyway, because both parents had to work.
Yeah.
You know, like 80% of the time. You know, so, and I think that part of that is, you know, it's unrealistic expectations, because really when you look at it, the things that you need, that you, I'm not going to say need, really want in life, you know, once you get past the dating part, once you get towards commitment, how easy is that if only one person is doing the heavy lifting?
And it becomes real damn hard.
Hey, let's follow. I'm gonna go back to the generational thing, because it's funny you say that, man. Because yesterday I was at an event, and at the event, it was like younger people there, and all the girls that were there had like somebody else with them taking pictures, like they posing and doing stuff. So how much does that OnlyFans generation, gig generation, to the where like you got these young ladies that are pretty much out like, I can earn this on OnlyFans, I can do this. So if you're coming to me, you need to be taking care of me, because that's kind of the mentality that's built behind that. Because I was out there, man, it was girls, and I swear, man, about every 5 feet, all it was somebody with their camera, or they had a home girl or somebody with them, and they would stop and take poses and take pictures, and that was just for OnlyFans or whatever the hell they doing. You know what I mean?
And that was like the soft girl era, where they were saying exactly what you said. You gonna take care of me. If you're gonna be with me, this dime piece right here, you're gonna take care of me. And so now the guys are trying to flip it and like, nah. You know, we coming equal. But I want to play a clip real quick for y'all to listen to from the Chisha Zed YouTube channel real quick.
Oh yeah.
Hey, listen, fellas, we done with the whole masculine provider male era. We're in our soft guy era, okay? Drizzle. Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but until that woman asks you to be her husband, you don't have to do husband-like things. Stop giving these women husband advantages and amenities, and you're still a boyfriend. Until that ring is on your finger, you shouldn't be doing anything, period. Drizzle. Like, y'all be so caught up on getting with Dusties and all that. You need to start going after their moms.
Damn.
See, I know a lot of y'all think that older women may not be that much attractive or whatever the case may be, but there's a lot of good looking older women. And I feel like you guys can deal with these older women who is going to take care of you and treat you like a king that you are. Drizzle. Now,
hey, let's
What are your thoughts?
Damn drizzle. What the hell?
Yeah. Hey, you know what? This sounds like a topic for like Carrie's show. Really,
It
to be honest
is.
with you, right? This sounds like
is.
this falls a shout out to my man Carrie Kazagan, man. But
K Zaggin, what's up?
Zaggin,
The Return of Manhood. Check out his
this
YouTube
sounds
channel.
like something on here, but I mean, you know, like I said, I just when I heard that and I read it, I was kind of like, damn. Ain't we doing that already? I mean, I just didn't, you know, I didn't think it was a whole movement or a trend behind it. I mean, with my old ass, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But like he said in the video, it's not just about like going to, he said, yo, stop giving these women married amenities. Take yourself, find you an older woman. You know what I'm saying? Who got things. And like I said, this is a generational thing. This ain't some dude who's 40, 50 years old saying find yourself an older woman. Because ain't no 40 or 50-year-old need to find a 70-year-old, 60-year-old woman. They got shit, right? He's talking directly to the younger generations about
young
finding
cats.
yourself an older woman who is established and not only taking care of you, but having the same shit you got or taking care of you.
Yeah, but some of what he's saying, okay, because when you talk about women wanting a man doing husband duties, my question becomes this. If you're not opening the door, if you're not a gentleman for a female, how long you think that shit's gonna last? You're not pumping gas.
I would
You're
like
not,
him to
you're not
clarify
doing
what
stuff
husband duties are.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
gonna say.
the
You got to
husband duty
define.
paying the bills, because some women don't pay no damn bills. The husband got the job and he pay all the bills and yada yada yada. It might be opening the door for someone. I don't know what his definition is.
Yeah, and to me, society, that's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle in this day and age. That's not practical.
All right.
I don't know about practical, but it ain't.
I mean,
I don't know, man.
Okay, but let me go back to like he says, like get with an older woman. I mean, I dated when I was in my 20s and 30s. I dated women that was in their 20s and 30s. And I mean, I didn't have all the money. She didn't have all the money, but I wasn't paying all her bills. I couldn't. I was broke. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, so that's what I guess with him is that it's almost to the point. It's like, you know, go get you a sugar mama. You know, on his end of the day. Which,
that's what he sounded like he's saying to me.
Exactly. I mean, but like, so even in the like, I don't know who these guys are in their 20s that are trying to pay these. I mean, I guess it's some people, they're trying to pay everybody's bills or whatever. Like, y'all should kind of be at the same level, maybe trying to get your education or just starting off in your career or whatever and getting to know each other. I guess, you know, I don't, you know, when he says husband duties or whatever, like who's 20 years old that's even pulling that off when you're just dating somebody?
Yeah.
Why would you?
I would like a definition of, like I said, husband duties. I need to know
why would you even do that?
What is he referring to when he says that? That's what I would like some clarity on, because to me, I'm like, it depends. Like you said, is it opening the door? Any 20-year-old can do that shit.
Yeah.
Right. If that's your husband duty, I mean, that's just being polite as a man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A husband duty might be taking out the trash, you know, mowing the lawn, like fixing shit around the house. Like you get a motherfucking honey-do list, that type of shit. That's what I think when this nigga says like, hey, you can't be doing husband duty. That's what I'm thinking. And you don't need to be doing no honey-do list for a motherfucker, like you said, they got the same shit you got. That's at the same place in life that you are. So that's what I see, but I don't know what he's defining it. But I want to kind of jump on the next topic. I mean, I love this motherfucking topic, really, to be truthful. Steve, I'm gonna point this one at you, man. So part of the soft guy era is also embracing your softer side. We haven't heard a lot about that. So how might encouraging men to embrace their softer side make relationships better or worse?
Okay, better. If you listen, if you learn to listen, you learn to listen to respect feelings. I think a lot of times as men, when you grow up, it's like a lot of that feeling shit is knocked over your head to keep that bottled up. That's not healthy.
Yeah.
That's not healthy at all.
Right.
So I think if you learn to embrace those things, if you learn to express yourself in a healthy way, if you learn to be not just financially supportive, but emotionally supportive, I think that those are things that will benefit a relationship.
Definitely.
Okay. If your partner cannot lean on you as a man, if a woman can not feel safe with you, like as you know, a strong, supportive person, though, however,
right,
that's when it becomes negative.
Yeah.
You know, if some shit goes down and you know, scared like a little bitch, within what good are you? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to.
Most women want to protect us.
Yeah. Most women want to protect us. So you have to you have to be able to balance that. You have to be able to be strong when you need to be strong, but you need to be able to be sensitive as far as comes listening, supportive, being there for the person. And I think that that is where that softness needs to be. But you need to be able to protect your girl. You need to be able, and not just your girl. Look, family, friends, if girl calls and says, hey, I'm worried about this, or I need help with this, or I need somebody to just ride with me to the mechanic to make sure I don't get, that's part of being a gentleman. And I think that it is important as men that we keep our young men say, look, no, you don't have to financially support somebody, but you should always be a gentleman. You should always be that, because the thing about it is that's what is good for society.
True. That's right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm taking. Like, look, I know you guys like your trends and you like your challenges and your TikTok shit and all that. But this is like this ain't nothing new, man. This is grown man shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, end of the day, you find you somebody special, you're gonna try to make it work out. Soft guy, hard guy, whatever. Like Steve pretty much said, man, you got to do what it takes to be a man, and a lot of that ain't being tough, ain't paying all the bills. It's making decisions with your heart and being real, pretty much, and showing some compassion. So,
and support.
Yeah. So I know you kids, you like your little challenges and like to tag shit and say this and say that, and y'all like to jump on chat rooms and pages and talk all your little shit. But at the end of the day, man, you find you somebody special, you do what it takes to make her happy, and you be the man you're supposed to be. And truthfully, a lot of you young cats ain't there. You know what I'm saying? Some of you do think you got to spend money all day long and do this to impress a girl. Some of you think you got to be hard, but I think that end of the day in the story, you just got to be real.
Yeah. So let me ask you, man, Ace, how could the expectations for men and women change based on soft guy era? I know, like, for us, probably ain't gonna change at all. I mean, we do what we do as men, but for these young kids, it seems like, especially from your experience, like the events you're at, it might change the game up a little bit. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, it could be a real good thing. I think a lot of, and I promote and I do a lot of things in the clubs. I work with a lot of younger people and I see it. And I think the difference that I see is that, like, for instance, we would go out, we see a young lady, we'd buy a drink, introduce ourselves, have a conversation. Now it's all popping bottles. It's all extreme. You know what I'm saying? And you trying to live up to a lifestyle that ain't you. You buying a $200-$300 section, you got a bottle, you trying to pop it. But end of the day in the story, she's over there in a camera shooting for OnlyFans. You're not even talking to her. So the purpose of you balling or doing whatever is just so you can get shine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when we kind of did it, we went out and we spent the money or bought a drink so we can get to know somebody or try to evolve move the relationship along. How I think that changes is that the soft guy era may be like, look, I'm not going to just try to ball out like that.
Exactly.
Like, you gotta, you need to maybe, I buy you a drink. I buy the first round, you buy the second round. Or, hey, I take you out on this day, you take me out on the next date or whatever. So I think it kind of, in our world, gets things a little back more toward normalcy, where people are trying to meet each other and actually talk and learn who they are and get out of this facade world of challenges and
I think
all of that
to your
stuff.
point, kids are acting grown.
Yeah.
They're young adults. They need to act grown. Like,
grow up.
Popping bottles and spending all this money to get a piece of ass at the end of the night. You might not even be with that girl in a month. To dude's point, like, you giving this, like, that's something I'll get a section and pop a bottle with my wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or it's my birthday or something.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If it's my birthday or some shit like that, or her birthday, that's the shit that you do for your wife. Not for this, like, to his point, this girl you dating, trying to impress while she over there on her phone, showing out.
Yeah. And I think that also it's, again, a question of you being pragmatic of where you are in life and your goals. if your goal is to be able to retire well, when you 50 and you popping bottles, how you gonna do that?
You know, retire, but not the way you want to.
That's IRA money right there, boy.
Yeah. And the person that you're dating should be looking at the same thing that you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not looking at that, well, then you're gonna have roadblocks, further on down the road. It's not gonna work. So I think that part of the soft boy era is on point. You gotta be looking at somebody who is trying to do what you're trying to do. And no, that doesn't always mean that you're gonna be able to, like last year you had the girl who was complaining about the Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
You can, that's not necessary, man. If you mad because somebody take you to the Cheesecake Factory, you need to go to the next female, man.
That's a great point, dude. Because that's soft
girl
era.
She had a whole
there.
list.
Yeah, that was soft girl era right there. Like, nigga, you taking me to the Cheesecake Factory?
Yeah,
man.
What?
It ain't the Cheesecake Factory ain't like it's just some old place around the corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You be happy you got a free meal. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean.
Like we ain't go to Luby, shit.
Yeah, for real.
Look, that's the granddad era, man.
Hey, you be cafeteria. Hey, we be in that cafeteria like the motherfucker. Hey, and you can't get no dessert.
Your tray down. You better slide tray.
Don't get no dessert, baby.
You better slide that tray.
You better get that Luann. You better get that Luann plate.
Slide that plate. Look, and and don't slide it to my DMs, but you can slide in that like button. All right. Also, subscribe to Left-Wing Kingz and make sure that you share this content on all of your social media.
Yeah, we giving our relationship advice today.
Today we give. Ace. Speaking of advice, what advice do you have for some of those feminist and high maintenance dating standards that the soft guy era is trying to put all that to an end? What are your thoughts there?
I mean, grow up, man. I mean, this is what it is. It's plain and simple. Like, I mean, if you're a young lady and your self-worth is trying to just get as much money out of dudes as you can and get somebody to take care of you, grow up, man. It don't work like that. I have the pleasure of working with a lot of strong women in my life. You know what I'm saying? That do their own thing. Mothers, you know what I'm saying? That make sacrifices, and like I said, I'm gonna take in case in point. We're talking about people who are just younger, and we're talking about a social media fad or whatever. So we're going to take that into play. A lot of these women haven't arrived or haven't fully developed to where they're going to be maturely. But yeah, you just got to grow up, man, because like nobody wants to be with somebody and, they got to do all the heavy lifting. You know what I'm saying? No, not in this world. Right. Don't work like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let's look at it on the other side. As a woman, you don't want to be in a situation you with somebody you dependent on. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to happen. You're not dependent. And then one day they decide, I don't need this no more. Now, where you going to be
exactly
down the line if this happens? So, yeah, I think it's just people just need to grow up, basically.
Yeah. And I think that also, when you talk about feminism, like it's like that old Destiny's Child song, shoes on my feet, I bought a car, I'm driving, if you're a feminist, well, then I don't think that it's gonna matter because you're gonna say, you know what, I can hold my own.
Independent lady.
Yeah, I don't need you for that. Now, it's gonna change the way women who have more traditional views, maybe more so than the feminists. And my question becomes this: when you look at a partner who is going to be able to properly raise kids with you, when you look at the lifestyle that you want to live later on down the road, is somebody just taking care of you going to be conducive?
Right.
Even more so, if somebody's taking care of you and they get sick of y'all's relationship with them, what you gonna do then?
Yeah. But I wonder, man, is this soft guy era pointed towards a single man who just wants to be single? Not some dude who's looking for wifey material yet. Not some dude that is looking like, is this like pointed towards them dudes who was like, okay, like you said, they dating these women, high maintenance women that want you to pay for everything, yada, 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 when they just out there trying to, do some sexing or whatever, and they ain't really trying to look for that wifey right now, right? And so these men, like now, when the check comes to the table, this nigga like this, and she like this. So nigga, you just pushing that bitch back and forth,
Yeah.
fucking up the goddamn tablecloth. So at the end of the day, I don't know like who the soft guy era is. I know it ain't for us. It better not be for us, nigga. We too old to be trying to worry about that shit. But I think it's
Nigga,
for
just
these
pay the
young
check, fool.
dudes
Just pay it, dog.
and these young women, where it's like now they gonna be button heads. If you not a feminist, to your point, great point. If you're a feminist, you like, oh, I stand on my own motherfucking 2 feet. But those high maintenance women, now you button heads with them because neither one of y'all motherfuckers want to really pay half. The dudes ain't really trying to pay half neither. Some of these motherfuckers trying to get older women.
Yeah, I was gonna hit that. And it's just like some of these older women ain't got their shit together either, brother. So you know what I'm saying? So let's
you might be barking up the wrong tree.
Might be barking up the wrong, and they know more than you do, bro.
Exactly.
You know, you get one of these cougars on your ass, youngster boy. You gonna have all your little $200 check. You know what I'm saying?
And you're gonna be more in the yard.
Yeah, and you're gonna be more in the yard. You're gonna be a soft guy, but you met a hard woman. You know what I'm saying? A grown ass woman. They leave them grown women alone, boy. They on something new, baby. They've been around the corner, fool. So
baby, if you want some of this sugar, you're gonna have to come do this, that, and the other.
To you like this. I have seen some of the older women out there with some of them young boys, and I hear what you're saying. I ain't experienced that shit, but from what I see from the outside looking in, I see a lot of the younger men taking advantage of those situations more than the older woman.
Sometimes.
Because the older man don't look basically like we do. Like they ain't got gray hair and wrinkles and shit like that. This young man look good. He's still in his prime and shit. Whereas, and so sometimes the women let that sway them to acting different because maybe they think they're gonna be with this young.
That goes both ways, though. Youth always, in that situation is always intriguing. You know what I'm saying? But like in a situation, kind of like their reasoning was like, hey, you know what? You want to give the older woman
right.
There's some older women that on that high maintenance shit too. You know what I'm saying? So you just, you just got to go, for the individual, I guess you could say, basically, you know what I'm saying? Just make a decision on there. But, it all kind of falls on maturity. That's basically what they were getting at. You get with somebody who's mature. Well, you can find some young women that are mature. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
True.
Find some old women that ain't. You know what I'm saying? So,
but to that end, you're right, 100% right. And at the same time, if you out there looking just to have fun, just date, but you don't want to pay pop bottles and pay everything yourself, then I can see some value in the soft guy era.
Yeah.
But there's another aspect of it where like the soft guy era might start having an impact on gender roles for society. So Steve, what are your thoughts on that?
I think as far as gender roles in society, some are positive, some are negative. I think that when a man is like, oh, well, you need to stay in your place, that's not positive. That's a negative thing. Okay. But when you look at a man saying, hey, I'm going to look out for you. And I'm not necessarily saying look out for you in a financial way, but I'm going to look out, to make sure that you're good, that you're safe and everything. I think that is a good thing. Okay. I think that the way that men and women nurture is if both people are healthy, have a healthy mindset, the difference is good. Okay. I do think that a lot of times this happens when you have a man who does not stand up for himself or stand up for his family as a man. If you're not present, if you're not doing the things within that, forces a woman to have to do those things. And then what happens is when a man is looking around, he's like, well, you're not being feminine, but you're not allowing her the room to be feminine. You're not allowing her the room to be a lady because you're not being a man. And I'm not talking about in a financial way. I'm talking about, in freaking simple things. You ain't, you sitting around the house, you ain't taking out the trash. She got to pump her gas. She got to, freaking deal with household things like the lawn and stuff like that. No, she shouldn't have to deal with that.
Right.
Mm-mm. Interesting. You might be trying to get you something tonight, ain't you, boy?
I don't look. I might be digging myself in a hole. What you
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
you
My
got
wife
some-
gonna be like, okay,
Wait,
now
honey,
you said
on
on
list I was
Left-Wing
talking about earlier.
Kingz. This is what you said. Now this is what you're
I
doing,
was gonna say,
Steven.
bro. About to say, bro, you show painting a pretty picture over there, Steve. I'm playing devil's advocate, you know, and I'm not this dude, but all right. So we're talking gender roles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if you talk about like taking out the trash more, what's the women's gender role in that household situation? Nobody want to answer that. No man at this table is gonna say that. And what I'm saying is, you ain't gonna define what she got to do. Yeah, exactly.
Is Wanda Whitaker watching this motherfucker right now?
You got definition. So yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, you know, you got your gender roles, and we all know where like household where men play or whatever, or what they do. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes as women, like women, like, yeah, you want to hold us to those roles, but you don't want to be held to no roles. You know, want us to come in telling you what you got to do.
Thank you.
And what was got to, you know, that's a problem then.
That's
and
true.
I think that's where women's lib kind of fell into things and kind of messed things up, because believe it or not, gender roles falls into God's plans. Hell, it's just things that women do better than men do.
But see,
and vice
women,
versa.
to your point, say, I can do anything a man can do.
Exactly.
But I won't.
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that's always been kind of my argument with the women's lib push, is that, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but if I turn around and say, all right, well, if I got to take out the trash, I need you to cook every day and have that food on at this particular time. That's a woman's role. You need to be in the kitchen. You need to do this. You should be cleaning the house because I mow the lawn. Now there's problems. You know what I'm saying?
Now you can't say that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So getting back to you know, and just be honest with you, I think all that should be shared if everything's running in one way or the other. I mean, it's just, and I think you guys have been successfully married, so I got to tell you guys that you know, you guys been dealing with a long-term relationships. So, but the thing is like with these gender roles, especially with the soft guy thing, is I don't really, you know, I think people get into that definition a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying, on what it is. You know what I mean? And I think that basically it's going to just make it, you know, define it a little bit better when it comes out, when it comes down to it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I have a conversation around it.
I agree. It'll define it a little bit better. I also think that at the end of the day, that there's going to be some I don't know, man. I don't know if there's going to be any clarity on the roles, gender roles, because I still think that for us, older individuals like us, it's like, hey, yo, we probably still live some of them old school rules. Like my wife cooks. I don't really cook that much in the house, but I do. Like she mows the lawn though, and I also mow the lawn. We mow the lawn together. And so there's certain things that, like we said, in our house, are shared duties, and some duties that I just do and she just does. So it's all over the map, really, man.
Yeah, and I think it comes down more so to, are both of you contributing?
Yep, exactly.
And I think in our era, like a lot of things that used to be, okay, this is what women do and this is what men do. I can remember when my kids were little, I would make sure my kids got baths, bedtime stories. I knew how, you know, I cook, you know, those are things
I
that
suck at all of that.
You suck at all of that? Damn. Yeah, well,
I'll play with you.
No.
Not really.
Can't read a book?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, my kids used to laugh because I'd look at the book and then I'd start making up words, man. But no, but I think that it does make it so gender roles are kind of blurred.
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, I guess to your point, okay, I don't think that that's always necessarily a bad thing, but I think that that also has to do with the fact that we don't live in an era where if you are married, you're going to be able to survive on one income.
Right.
So a lot of these gender roles came from, okay, when one person is going to be working more than the other.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's not so much like that.
Yeah.
You know, the income gap is also closing. So men and women are making closer to the same amount of money.
Yeah.
So I do think that in a relationship, you got to be coming with some different things.
Yeah. And to that point, man, things always change, like you said, and things are changing as society keeps changing, technology, everything, and jobs and what we're willing to do and things like that. Those things are always going to keep changing. But I do want to go ahead and hit up some of these comments on YouTube and Facebook real quick. So we got Pastor V. He said, "Good afternoon, family." What's up? He also said, "Happy 1 year anniversary, Left-Wing Kingz." So for those of you who don't know, we are a 1 year old today. Larry Sizer in the building. He said, basically, soft guy era. He said, "Stop simping." Basically, that's what he said. He also said, as an avowed retrosexual, I am with traditional roles. Some of these guys these days can't get under the hood of a car because they can't chip their nail polish." And then he also said, "It ain't tricking if you got it." Yes, it is. It is still tricking. Simping is at an all-time high in 2024. And he said, "Females can be scrubs too." So just believe that, because ain't all females got everything, and there can be some scrubs out there. But I want to thank everybody out there on Facebook, YouTube, watching us today on Left-Wing Kingz, joining us in the stream. I want to thank my man Steve for stepping up and coming out and helping us out today.
Yep.
My homeboy Ace, who's always down to clown and have a good time and hit us up with that knowledge.
1 year and still running, y'all.
Yes, sir. And my girl Tina, the queen over here, holding everything down, keeping everything on lock for us. And we will see you guys again next week. I'm just gonna tell y'all, we're not gonna be on next week. Mother's Day weekend. We gonna, because a brother like me need to do things on Sunday. I can't be working on this stuff. So we will take a break next week, but we will see you the week after that. So
all right.
Thank you for joining us.
All right.
Have a good one.